welcome back to yet another interesting podcast. Today we'll be talking about tattoos and the demonization of tattoo in Africa and in Nigeria. With me, I have Prince, of course, and I have Emmanuel. But before we continue with the video, please like, subscribe, and share, please. So let's delve right into it, right? I want to ask, in your growing up, what was tattoo like for you in your household and your community? What was it like to have tattoo or not to have tattoos?
As someone who has a lot of tattoos, I'm going to
Okay,
start.
okay.
So, growing up, one of the
Mm,
things that I remember vividly is that I liked tattoos on human body. That
mm,
being said, I grew up in a culture where people spoke about tattoos in a very negative way, including
mm.
my own mother, right?
Okay.
I remember when my oldest brother got sleeves of tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
He came home and my mom was like, my brother is lost. The devil has taken him. There is no hope for him anymore. All our
Okay.
prayers are a waste. There is
Mm-hmm.
nothing that we can do to bring him out. Did you see his body? He has marks of the devil all
And he's
over his
going to
body.
hell. And he's going to hell, by the way.
He already has a plot of land in hell. There is no hope anymore. So that's how, like, even in our society, like, everybody who had tattoo was seen as a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Simple and short. If
Okay.
you are accused of any crime and you have tattoo on your body, you are
You are
guilty of
sentenced.
crime.
You are sentenced for
Especially,
life.
especially when you live in the countryside and you don't really look fresh.
Mm,
I'm telling you, like, and there was a time the narrative even changed that if
mm-hmm.
you look fresh and have tattoos, it's fine. But if you look
Oh,
hungry and have tattoos, you're a criminal.
then it's
So, which
bad.
is very,
Mm.
very discriminatory in its own.
Oh,
And I
wow.
remember when I first got my first tattoo, immediately my mom saw it. She slapped me
Okay, so
and
I'm,
said that
I'm going.
I have gotten the mark of the devil.
I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick on your brain about getting your first tattoo. But let me
Yes.
quickly ask Ima if Ima has any contribution to make to that question before I ask you about that.
Well, my growing up, I do not really have a lot to say about tattoo while I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike now that I'm an adult. So
Mm.
in my childhood and even in my adolescence, I do not really have a lot of things to discuss about tattoo. I just know that people got tattoos, but maybe because I never got one, I did not have to face the fight that Prince faced in his
Mm.
family. So
Okay. So,
because I didn't have any, so
so
it's
talking
fine.
talking about talking about the fight that you had. What was it
Yes.
that changed your perspective about having tattoo? What was it?
No,
What was that?
I didn't necessarily need my perspective to be changed, right?
Okay.
I
Mm-hmm.
liked tattoos. I know everybody demonized it around me, but I did like tattoos. And
Mm.
somehow, a part of me always wanted one. Like, I
Okay.
really wanted one.
Mm-hmm.
But after what happened with my brother, when he got his tattoos, I was like, maybe I'm not ready for this because I saw how my family and my parents reacted to him getting his own tattoos. But
Mm-hmm.
at some point, I'm like, you only live once. I can't keep postponing this because I want to please my parents.
Mm.
This is what makes me happy. And because I also started studying the history of tattoos,
Of
especially in Africa and in
yeah.
Igbo land,
Yeah.
and that drove me to get my first tattoo.
Exactly. See, that's the thing about tattoos, right? I was talking to my mom recently about body markings, and
Yes.
tattoos take different forms, right? Historically,
Mhm.
body markings, scarifications in Africa and in different parts of the world. So it all boils down to people having marks, but now they are against tattoos. So let's talk about parents' role, for example. What do you think, like having those tattoos in Africa helps to
Mm.
like give us a sense of belonging or cultural identity?
Well, if you ask most of our parents, they would say no.
Mm,
But if you ask me, I would say yes, 100%.
okay.
Because if you look at the history of tattoos in Africa, you
Mm,
would see that before the contact of the West, we have different ways that we drew tattoo. People
right.
called it scarification or whatever, like we had different ways. In
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria, precisely, most communities had tattoos for different reasons. One is
Right.
a form of identity. If they
Mm-hmm.
see your tattoo, they know your clan immediately, right?
Okay.
Some other people had tattoos as punishment for their crimes.
Right. Right.
So if once they see you with your tattoo, they know you're a criminal, a
Mm,
thief. So
mm,
people can hold their property very well, right? And then when the Portuguese came, they introduced ink to us.
Mm,
And that's how black tattoos became very popular. In
mm,
Igbo, like you will see almost all women having uri tattoos
mm.
on their. It was a
Yeah.
sign of beauty for women at the
Okay.
time.
I'm just
Faces, hands everywhere. So
I'm just gonna
part of
quickly
who we
ask
are.
I'm just gonna quickly ask Ima about what do you think now we are talking about parental role in this.
Yeah,
What do you think
yeah.
about religion and how religion has helped in demonizing tattoos? And also, Prince, you can also share your idea later.
I think combine it colonization and religion.
Oh yeah, that's true. Colonization and religion. So yeah, Ima.
Because of course, to start with religion,
Mm-hmm.
religion has done a lot to us in
True.
Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know a lot of churches that you don't even dare go there if you have a tattoo. Because
Okay.
Yes.
some of them will not even let you in. In
Mm.
in a lot of churches or in a lot of Christian or any form of religious faith, especially the ones that have to do with Christianity, tattoo
Yes.
Yes.
is considered a great sign of irresponsibility.
Mm.
Mm.
So
Mm.
you yes, if you have a tattoo, automatically the congregation or the adherents of that particular religion would see you as somebody who is not holy.
Mm. Mm.
Imagine a pastor or an imam having tattoo.
I
Yes.
mean, like,
So this is how people would see it. And the problem about colonization, it's also it's complicated when I think about it in that
mm,
aspect. The reason it's
mm,
complicated for me is that I know that even in Europe, especially in the 20th century, tattoo was highly stigmatized.
Yes.
mm.
And
It
that's
was
why they
also
brought it
it
to
was also
Africa.
demonized, and even
Yes.
currently as we speak, because I also read an article that was published last year that talks about this thing. Even as we
Mhm.
speak, some people are still not very accepting of tattoos in
Mm.
Europe. So
Okay.
I do not really know whether it shaped the demonization of tattoo in Nigeria and in Africa, because if they came to demonize it, why are they also demonizing it in their own continent? So for me, it's a complicated line to draw,
I
Mm.
think
right?
I don't
So
think it's
Prince,
that is I don't think it's too complicated. I think a
Yeah.
lot of the things that the West demonized during colonization, they
mm,
Mhm.
also did it in Europe, right?
mm,
So if you look at the history of tattoo, especially during the Victorian era in the UK, that's
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
when the English started demonizing tattoo full time, right?
Yeah,
Even the elite had tattoos, but they would draw it in hidden parts of their bodies so that
right.
people wouldn't know, so they
Okay.
can criticize it in public. So the same way like homosexuality was
Mm-hmm.
criminalized during
Mm-hmm.
colonial era, that's
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
also the same way that they also tried to criminalize drawing markings on our body at the time. So,
But
but the problem is, the thing is that for a people, when you separate them from their identity, it's easier for you to control them. So
mm,
it's also a tool that the colonial masters used to separate
mm.
us from who we are as Africans.
And there's something about body markings because you also mentioned people being marked as a sign of punishment, which the slave
Yes.
masters did at some point
Yes.
in history, right?
Yes.
And and
Mm-hmm.
So
even
and
and even the level at which we are talking about it seems to be at the national level of identity,
Mm,
right? This is how I would describe it, like our national identity. But there is also another aspect of this tattoo because it's also a part of individual identity.
mm,
yes.
So even irrespective of your tribe or your community or the country you come from, human beings sometimes just feel like they want to have this tattoo or they want to have a marking on their body because it gives them that fulfillment and that is who they are. If,
so
if they
so
choose to
so
define themselves by what they draw, then it is
I,
because of
important.
I can
because of
I can attest to that because
mm,
my tattoos are ethnic tattoos. So this
mm.
is Igbo, this is Edinkra symbols.
Yeah.
All these things form part of who I am, and without them, I would feel lost.
So
I will not take time. The reason I
okay.
talked about self-identity is that, I told you growing up, I do not really have a lot of things to say about tattoo. But
Mm,
I grew up to just find myself liking to draw something on my body. This
mm.
It
has
men,
nothing to do with, of course, you are not going to say it's so much about socialization because
Right,
tattoos are not even that popular back home.
right.
yes.
So in secondary school, I would use a pen to draw something, and I found it so interesting. And
Mm.
even now that I'm here, I once asked my classmates to draw something that is like a fake something tattoo, and
Yeah.
I so much like it. So
Mm.
tomorrow I decide to get a tattoo. It's not going to be maybe because of nationality or something.
So
It's because I like this marking on my body.
let's
Mhm.
talk about
Yeah.
the lack of opportunities, both socio-economic opportunities for people who have tattoos. Because I've heard people say if you have tattoos, there are certain professions you should not go into. What do you have to say about such cases?
When I was in Nigeria, I had a rumor that if you have tattoos, you cannot join the police or the military. That
Mm-hmm.
they make you go completely naked to confirm whether you have tattoos or not. And
Mm.
I don't know how true that is, but I feel that that is very discriminatory.
That
Mm-hmm.
Like
is the
you,
height of discrimination.
yes, like, and it is similar here in many spaces. I
Mm-hmm.
remember when I was in Nigeria, like I was teaching in a university, and people would say, "How do you expect students to listen to you when you have tattoos?" And I'm like, "Students are not listening to my
The
tattoos; they are listening to my
tattoos.
words.
Exactly.
If
Mm.
I
Exactly.
do my job well, what does the tattoo have to do with any of these?" So
Exactly.
having tattoos can lead you to a lot of, even the police will profile you as a criminal. It
Right.
leads to a lot of discrimination and can cause a lot of violence on the bodies of people who have tattoos. And
I think for the most part, people take one side of the story. Because for every issue in life, there are people who have tattoos and turn out to be good people. There are people who have tattoos and turn out to be bad people. So I feel like society selects those bad people who have tattoos and then generalize that, oh, everybody that has tattoos are all bad people. So
yes,
moving away from that now, I want to ask as our closing, what do you think we should do to decriminalize having tattoos in Nigeria? Or
I don't
not
know
demonize.
if decriminalize is the word, because it's not a criminal offense to have tattoos. It's just
Okay.
the
Mm-hmm.
norm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think to destigmatize it.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes, yes.
Mm.
So what we should do is, I always say this, it's what we are doing right now. A lot of
Mm.
other people should do the same thing because I
Mm.
believe we are not the only ones that have grown to see this, to experience that there is no logical relationship between having a tattoo on your body and your attitude or your personal characteristics. So
Mm.
people should continue to create the awareness. Other people should make this kind of videos, talk about it in secondary school if you are teaching, just teach them young. So people should stop seeing those that have tattoos as if they
As
are
being
criminal
evil.
or they are irresponsible, especially the ones that live in the villages, because I think they are the ones suffering the most. Once you get a tattoo in the countryside, everybody is going to believe you are responsible for a goat that got lost
Or
last
you are
night.
part of a
Or
gang
you're a
member.
Or
cultist.
you,
Or you
yeah,
are part
or
of a gang
exactly,
member.
or you are
Mm.
a cultist or whatever. It is not always the case. I can be like this. I don't have any tattoo on my body, but I could be the worst person on earth.
True.
So just because someone has a tattoo doesn't mean the
Okay.
person is whatever
So
you think they are.
let's just pick on Prince as a closing.
I have two things to
Yeah.
say. I think
Okay.
one, it is time for us as Nigerians and Africans to actually know who we are. I
Okay.
think we should read. I think
Mm.
we should study and find out where the ideas we have are coming from. Because a
Okay.
lot of the
Mm.
things we believe are our cultures are
Mm-hmm.
colonial impute in our
Mm-hmm.
culture.
Right.
Example
Yeah.
Right.
is the stigmatization of tattoo. It's a
Mm-hmm.
colonial thing. We
Yeah.
should of course realize that that is who we are.
Mm.
Secondly, I think that part of the reasons we in elections we elect bad leaders is
Mm.
because we focus a lot in irrelevant things and do not, like, if I contest election in Nigeria because I have
You will
tattoos,
fail woefully.
a lot of people would not vote for me because
You would
I,
fail
even if
Exactly.
woefully.
I have the best economic plan that is going to lift Nigeria out of poverty, people
True.
would still vote for my opponent. So
Mm.
I think it's high time we stop judging people by physical appearance and start thinking and looking at the substance that people come with.
Mm.
That's all I have to say.
Wow, thank
Exactly.
you so much, guys. Well, guys, you've heard it all. Tattoos, we should destigmatize tattoos in Nigeria and in Africa and everywhere. So if you like this
Yeah.
video, click share, subscribe, and like the video. Thank you very much.
Always. Thank you. And see you next
Thank
time.
you.